The Psychological Foundations of Belief in Spirits is an early 1920 essay written by Carl Jung, which develops his theory of the unconscious complex. Jung finds there to be considerable parallels between spiritualism and psychoanalysis, and wants to present the latter as a modern scientific approach to understanding occult phenomena, as well as the relation between psychological disorders and historical cases of hauntings and possessions. The essay is collected in Volume 8 of his collected works, and we proceed now with a simplified abridgment of the text. Throughout human history, there has always been belief in ethereal beings, which are often thought to be spirits of the dead, influencing human lives. This belief persists among various cultures, from highly civilized societies to those still living in primitive conditions. While rationalism and scientific enlightenment have diminished such beliefs, still they persist, as expressed by beliefs in haunted houses and various superstitions. In modern times, there's a resurgence of interest in spirits, driven not by superstition, but rather scientific inquiry. Despite ridicule, individuals like William Crookes, Frederick Myers, Alfred Russel Wallace, and Johann Zollner have challenged materialistic dogmas by exploring psychic phenomena. These efforts reflect a broader human reaction against materialism. For primitive man, belief in spirits served to counterbalance a purely materialistic worldview, reminding him of a spiritual reality alongside the physical one. This awareness of the spiritual realm kept him attuned to spiritual laws. However, contact with civilization and its enlightenment has often eroded this innate awareness, leading to a loss of spiritual connection, even within established religions like Christianity. For primitive societies, the phenomenon of spirits serves as direct evidence of a spiritual realm. While civilized societies may dismiss such experiences as superstitions or hallucinations, there's evidence to suggest that psychic phenomena occur with similar frequency across cultures. The difference lies in interpretation. Where primitives speak of ghosts, civilized individuals might attribute similar experiences to dreams, fantasies, or neuroses. Dreams hold particular significance for primitives, often blurring the line between reality and imagination. They readily interpret dreams as encounters with spirits or ghosts. Similarly, psychogenic diseases, especially hysterical disorders, are attributed to malevolent spirits, such as those of deceased relatives. Ancestor worship, prevalent in many cultures, serves as protection against perceived influences from these spirits. Mental illnesses, especially those like schizophrenia, contribute significantly to belief in spirits. Throughout history, insane individuals have been viewed as possessed, often hearing auditory hallucinations, interpreted as voices of figures tied to their personal conflicts. These experiences reinforce the belief in spirits, especially in primitive societies. Belief in spirits and belief in souls are closely intertwined concepts in primitive societies. Spirits are often viewed as the ghosts of the deceased, implying that they were once the souls of living individuals. While some cultures believe in a single soul per person, others suggest multiple souls, with one surviving death as an immortal spirit. This perspective sees the spirit of the dead as just one aspect of the total soul, a psychic fragment. Belief in souls forms the foundation for belief in spirits, particularly those of the deceased. However, primitive beliefs extend beyond just human spirits to elemental demons, which are entities not derived from human souls. Dreams, which are a source of belief in spirits, hold significant importance in primitive psychology. Though consciousness is not completely extinguished in dreams, it is limited and distorted, forming a dream ego. Dream contents confront this ego similarly to real-life circumstances, often presenting situations beyond waking conception. Dreams are autonomous psychic complexes arising from the unconscious and obeying their own laws. This contrast between waking and dreaming states suggests that psychic activity during sleep originates from a different realm, lending credibility to the belief in spirits and souls among primitive societies. Visions, like dreams, are manifestations of unconscious contents that intrude into waking consciousness. They occur alongside conscious perceptions and are often mistaken for real perceptions, leading to delusional ideas. These phenomena, including hallucinations, reveal that the psyche is not a unified whole, but a divisible entity with relatively independent parts. I've termed these independent parts autonomous complexes, forming the basis of my theory of complexes. Complexes are associated with the ego, but can exist independently for some time. The conversion of St. Paul to Christianity serves as an example of this process. Though his conversion seemed sudden, it was preceded by a long period of unconscious incubation. His unconscious identification with Christianity culminated in a profound experience on the road to Damascus, where his unconscious Christ complex associated itself with his ego, leading to his conversion. Autonomous complexes are most evident in dreams, visions, hallucinations, and delusional ideas, often appearing in projected form. In dreams, they manifest as other people, while in visions, they are projected into space. Delusional ideas, such as ideas of persecution, are frequently projected onto others, reflecting the individual's inner conflicts. People often project their assumptions onto others without realizing it, leading to misunderstandings and conflicts. This tendency to project one's own qualities onto others can result in a loss of personality and a failure to recognize the true nature of oneself and others. It's unwise to assume that others are as flawed as oneself and to attribute one's own virtues or faults to them without reflection. From a psychological perspective, spirits are unconscious, autonomous complexes that manifest as projections because they lack direct association with the ego. In contrast, the soul, or souls, are perceived as belonging to the individual, and its loss is seen as pathological. The primitive views the proximity or influence of spirits as uncanny or dangerous, while the loss of a soul is perceived as a sickness, often attributed to serious physical diseases. The belief in multiple souls suggests the existence of multiple relatively autonomous complexes that can behave like spirits. Soul complexes are perceived as belonging to the ego, while spirit complexes are associated with illness when linked to the ego, and recovery when dissociated from it. Primitive pathology recognizes two causes of illness: the loss of the soul and possession by a spirit. This distinction aligns with my conception of the unconscious, which comprises the personal unconscious and the collective unconscious. The personal unconscious contains forgotten memories, subliminal impressions, and repressed contents incompatible with conscious attitudes. The collective unconscious, on the other hand, consists of innate forms and instincts shared by humanity, including primordial images and mythological motifs. While the collective unconscious is not easily observable in normal individuals, it becomes evident in cases of mental derangement, especially schizophrenia, where mythological images and symbols emerge without direct personal experiences, reflecting primitive, mythological thinking. The personal unconscious comprises complexes intrinsic to the individual's psychic life. When a personal complex becomes unconscious, the individual experiences a sense of loss, whereas its conscious recognition results in an increase of power, often leading to the cure of neuroses. Conversely, when a complex from the collective unconscious becomes associated with the ego, it is felt as strange and uncanny, causing a state of alienation from normal life. The invasion of a collective complex into consciousness is marked by symptoms of mental illness, such as weird and monstrous thoughts and distorted perceptions. While contents of the personal unconscious are perceived as belonging to one's own psyche, those of the collective unconscious appear alien, as if originating from outside. The reintegration of a personal complex brings relief and healing, while the invasion of a collective complex is a disagreeable and potentially dangerous phenomenon. The association experiment demonstrates the presence of autonomous complexes. When a stimulus word triggers a complex with a strong feeling tone, it disrupts the readiness to react, causing delayed reactions. Neurotic or insane individuals show disturbances in reactions caused by these complexes, which are also essential components of their psychic disturbance, manifesting as symptoms such as strange answers or sudden confusions. These behaviors align with the primitive belief in spirits, suggesting that complexes behave in a manner consistent with this ancient formulation. Certain complexes arise from painful or distressing emotional experiences, resulting in lasting psychic wounds. These may lead to a sense of soul loss, as valuable qualities in the psyche disappear. Another source of complexes originates from perceptions or impressions of the collective unconscious, often triggered by profound changes in the life of a social group or nation, such as political, social, or religious upheavals. External circumstances often serve as occasions for the manifestation of a new attitude to life and the world, long prepared in the unconscious. Social, political, and religious conditions affect the collective unconscious by activating its contents. Individuals with strong intuition may become aware of these changes and translate them into communicable ideas, which spread rapidly but may also face resistance. When contents of the collective unconscious become activated, they disturb the conscious mind, leading to confusion. If the activation results from the collapse of individual hopes and expectations, there is a danger of the collective unconscious replacing reality, which is pathological. However, if the activation is a result of psychological processes in the unconscious of the people, although individuals may feel threatened or disoriented, the resultant state is not necessarily pathological. Successful translation of the unconscious into communicable language can have a redeeming effect, channeling unconscious forces into consciousness and forming a new source of power, which may lead to dangerous enthusiasm. Spirits, when translated into ideas, can have beneficial effects. The miracle of Pentecost is an example of this transformation, where the apostles communicated new teachings which expressed the unconscious expectations of the people and spread rapidly throughout the Roman Empire. Spirits, viewed from a psychological perspective, are complexes of the collective unconscious that manifest when an individual loses adaptation to reality or when a collective attitude of a people needs replacement. They can either be pathological fantasies or new yet unknown ideas. The psychogenesis of spirits of the dead involves the sinking of emotions tied to the deceased into the unconscious, activating collective contents with deleterious effects on consciousness. These effects include loss of libido, depression, and physical debility, often leading to experiences like ghosts and hauntings, which are based on psychic facts but are often dismissed due to superstition. While I've avoided discussing the existence of spirits and their material effects, I acknowledge that evidence for their independent existence is challenging to find. Spiritualistic communications typically stem from the personal unconscious, but exceptions exist, such as cases described by Stuart E. White, which exhibit profound content resembling collective archetypes. Spiritualism, as a collective phenomenon, aims to make the unconscious conscious, similar to the goals of medical psychology, but does not provide conclusive evidence for or against the existence of spirits. However, proven cases of identity are a different matter and require careful consideration, as they may involve phenomena beyond current scientific understanding. Stuart White's books, particularly The Unobstructed Universe and The Road I Know, offer valuable insights into the psychology of the unconscious and the method of active imagination, revealing parallels between the spirit land and the dreamland or unconscious. Parapsychic phenomena, typically associated with mediums, are, in my experience, externalized effects of unconscious complexes. While I have observed telepathic effects and various parapsychic phenomena, I see no evidence of real spirits. Until such proof arises, I consider this domain an extension of psychology. And that brings us to the end of the psychological foundations of belief in spirits. Next time, we shall explore Jung's fascinating perspective on the relation between spirituality and psychology, the concept of spirit, and how one can tap into the dimension of spirit to find meaning and purpose in life. Please be sure to subscribe to the channel to be notified of new videos like this one, and I hope that you enjoy the rest of your day.